Coming up next, the County Council may make a move on the controversial access to a popular South Hilo beach. Will eminent domain solve the problems at this fenced path to Papayco Mill? And 5 homes in 10 days. Habitat for Humanity undertakes an intense blitz build in Kealakekee. And the mayor introduces long-awaited procedures in case of a geothermal-related emergency in Puna. But is it too late to put out the political fire? This is Big Island Video News for Wednesday, September 19th, 2012. I'm Stephanie Salazar. It looks like the Papayco Mill beach access controversy is about to heat up again. In what is sure to be a highly debated resolution, County Council Chair Dominic Yagong is seeking to seize a pedestrian public access easement through eminent domain. That public access would be this path, which is on private property belonging to Papayco Landing Incorporated. It begins at the end of the Mill Road, the road marked by Pinky's Store off Highway 19. It's a well-known and hotly contested entrance to the mill, Papayco's popular beach. State law allows anyone to use any beach, but access is sometimes a different issue. In the case of the mill, most users take advantage of an open manhole in the fence that leads to a path towards the relatively secluded shoreline. The path is part of the property of Charlene Prickett and her husband James Waugh, who purchased the property in 1995. Before they owned it, it was part of the C. Brewer plantation lands.
We're just coming here to support a noble cause, and I think the main issue is access to a beach that should be public access to everybody.
In 2010, Big Island Video News covered this rally over the pathway after the relationship between the owners and certain members of the public soured.
And many of us, including most of the people behind me, have been going to this beach for generations and including years since before the ownership of the current owners. And I don't think it's justifiable to bring an end to that use to the community. And you know, it's all about heritage, and there's more than 3 generations of people alive today in this very moment that have been sharing that beach for fishing, surfing, going to the beach, taking the keikis there. And there's no reason we should put an end to that. I mean, this is Hawaii, and the beach is part of the culture. You know, it used to be a little hidden secret. I started going down there, you know, more than 10 years ago, and it used to be just a nice little place to get away. You know, Honolulu is usually crowded and packed, and you know, unfortunately now, obviously through all the propaganda and the news, a lot more people know about it. I mean, I don't know if I really want to repeat the words that she said to me the first time I encountered her, but she was not friendly, and I was told I couldn't go on the beach to surf, and we were just, you know, headed down there on an afternoon, and we were told to leave, and you know, they resulted, you know, calling us names and using some pretty offensive words, and I had never met her before, so that was my first introduction to the whole scene. You know, really, I can understand where she's coming from. You know, people want to have a piece of the Big Island, and they want to have private property, but most importantly, we gotta honor the people who have been heading down there for years previous, and you know, Hawaii is all about sharing the land, and it's a pretty touchy subject. So I think without a doubt, you know, access should be granted to everybody, and it's just all about community.
Bro, please, bro. Just give us some beach access. We're gonna go cool. Please, we're all over, bro. That's all we need is access. Mahalo.
What I hope that we can all do is get an easement by prescription, which is what, if we gather enough people, which is what we're going to do, because if we get an easement by prescription, then we will be granted access indefinitely, and really, you know, that would supersede her private property, and an easement through prescription would allow everybody to access it freely, as it has been previous to the ownership.
It was still a hot issue months later and was brought up frequently during the initial stages of crafting the Hamakua Community Development Plan. Local fishermen voiced their concerns during discussions on public access, which happens to be a challenge up and down the entire Hamakua coast.
If it's 5:30 in the morning, I'm going to the ocean and work with the tide. What? I cannot go down to 7 or whatnot when he opens the gate. If I climb over, I'm a criminal. And I'm only doing what, like how you explained. Subsistence. That's all we're doing. If I gotta go work lunchtime, I like go ocean in the morning. But right now, we're a criminal.
And right now, this is an effort to empower the community. You know, this CDP, Community Development Plan, that C is the most important part of this whole thing. It says community. So please use this as an effort to do exactly that.
Dominic Yagong, the Hamakua District Councilman, happened to be present for these initial meetings, and the complaints over the Papaico Mill access were heard loud and clear. The contentious issue was discussed again a month later at this community meeting dubbed Save Papaico Beach Access. Once again, Councilman Yagong was present, and he suggested the crowd look into the possibility of having the county acquire the land through public access and open space commission process. However, the owners have not been receptive to negotiating a sale with the county. And that brings us years later to a measure that will go before the Hawaii County Council for consideration a few weeks from now, on October 3rd. According to the whereas sections of the resolution, the public has used the paths to get to the beach at Papaico for many decades, and the document even cites old maps, saying the 1979 County of Hawaii Shoreline Public Access Inventory identified an existing public access described as, quote, Mill Road to Papaico Landing through Silverton Subdivision and private lands, end quote. The resolution says the owners have imposed restrictions on the use of the path, including limitation of hours, and have occasionally denied use for periods of time. And it says the owners could place additional limits or deny access altogether. The resolution goes on to say that the owners also claim ownership of Mill Road through a quitclaim deed, although owners of lots within the Silverton camp have easements over Mill Road in their deeds. And one condition of the original subdivisions allowing the private purchase of the lots in Silverton camp in 1952 was that the lot purchasers were supposed to receive undivided interests in the Mill Road. Another whereas cites the Highways Act of 1892, which could be used to establish a public right to overland access to the beach, but would likely require costly litigation. Yagong's resolution says the acquisition would reduce conflict between the private landowner and community, and that people are ready to assist in the maintenance and management of a public access easement. More than 5,000 residents on the island of Hawaii have reportedly signed petitions calling for public access to the beach at Papaico. The public, for or against, will have a chance to let the councilmen know what they think on Friday, when a community meeting will be held at the Papaico Gymnasium beginning at 6 p.m. A detailed evacuation protocol in case of a geothermal-related emergency was introduced to the residents of Leilani Estates on Saturday. Mayor Billy Kanoy and key fire, police, and civil defense officials revealed the set of procedures during the association's general meeting. These pamphlets were handed out at the meeting showing the color-coded advisory scale and other information. Battalion Chief Gerald Kosaki explained that there are two basic types of emergencies that could arise at the Puna geothermal plant, located within a mile of the large portion of the Leilani Estate subdivision. The first is a chemical spill.
Since the inception of PGV here on the Big Island, there has been only one significant event related to these chemicals, and this occurred in 2004 when a mechanical malfunction resulted in a leak of pentane that caught on fire. However, the incident was quickly mitigated and brought under control with the combined efforts of the fire personnel and PGV staff, and posed no threat to the surrounding community.
The second type is of greater concern to surrounding neighborhoods, a steam release containing hydrogen sulfide.
Over the last decade, these events have been infrequent, and any such releases resulted in very small amounts. However, even at levels well below the levels that would cause any serious health issues, H2S may be noticeable by an odor. PGV has over 30 H2S monitors within the plant that provides an early warning for any leaks.
In the event of an H2S release, the fire
There are
department
also
would
3
spring into action using this alert level scale.
The first trigger is an alert. The warning level is a clear sign that conditions at PGV cannot be immediately controlled, and the decision will be made to implement a full-scale evacuation of affected areas. We have discussed this. It already is in discussion about conducting a drill and doing an evacuation drill and type like that. But, you know, as you all know, it's very inconvenient for the community if we say, you know, we're going to evacuate everybody out today.
Police also verified their role in the event of an evacuation. Assistant Chief Marshal Kanehailua was present to answer questions.
We know what to do if it comes to this point. We can have 6 or 7 officers that are assigned to this district, this side of the district, to be on site to take over and help with traffic direction, need that evacuation.
Some in the audience were worried about the elders in the family if such a situation were to arise.
We would have to coordinate with the fire department to see what the emergency is. And I'm sure if you had to get home to take care of something, we would make sure that happens in some way, shape, or form. Understanding though, the immediate response is to either evacuate, okay?
But if someone's left behind,
I don't think we had discussed, you know, identifying people with needs and going in it. That includes animals as well.
We put out a survey requesting anybody with any special needs in the case of an evacuation or emergency, fill that out, give it to us. We keep it on file here in the office. We did the same thing. If you've got any special resources we might need when a big one hits and we're short on supplies.
That would be so, because we could immediately ID vulnerable residents and areas to prioritize.
Mayor Billy Canoy also said that the county would be developing the framework for a health study, a framework that he says will be devoid of a political agenda because of how it will be developed.
Provide an independent assessment that's not driven by short-term politics or strong pro-con advocacy.
The topic of a health study and evacuation plan certainly has been mired in politics over the last 6 or 7 months.
It's going to be a campaign issue.
When County Council Chair Dominic Yagong called this special council meeting on geothermal in Pahoa earlier this year, battle lines were drawn.
It is not a question at this site when, if we're going to have another blowout, it's just when and how damn bad.
Or their families. When you see parents that can't help their children when they're sick, it's really scary.
There seems to be a lot of women problems. Sorry if people are uncomfortable talking about that, but that's the reality. We need an independent health study of the geothermal neighbors. Again, I'd like to ask that half the asset fund goes to that purpose.
Yagong, who was also a challenger for the mayor's seat up until his primary election loss, introduced 2 high-profile bills dealing with geothermal energy at the county council. One bill aimed to redefine the geothermal relocation and community benefits program with an emphasis on the safety of the residents wishing to put distance between themselves and the energy producer.
Have a program to relocate people within a 1-mile radius of the plant.
The bill also called for a health study.
The legislation also allows for health studies to be funded through this relocation public safety fund as well.
The other bill would have ordered Civil Defense to create a specific emergency plan for the community located near geothermal industrial sites, which would include an evacuation drill.
It would seem to me that the county would make sure that there's a plan that not only the agencies that has to respond, has, but also the community.
It appeared at first as if the administration was in support of the idea. Public testimony was passionate. The bills passed the council but were vetoed by the mayor, who did not see eye to eye with Yagong on the legislation.
We have evacuation plans for every emergency for Hawaii Island, hurricane, tsunami, and including geothermal.
At the same time, a large group of residents from Leilani Estates, many of whom were present for Saturday's meeting, came forward with concerns about Yagong's legislation.
And what our concern is the fact that there is no scientific evidence to propose a 1-mile buffer zone. This is just an approximation. All of these people around that have mortgages and pay property tax, what are their homes going to be worth?
If there are any health problems, then we're the first ones to say, let's do the health studies and find out what the evidence is.
The council tried to override the mayor's veto, questioning Civil Defense Administrator Ben Puwata on the sudden withdrawal of his support for the bill.
And creating such public unrest at this time.
Everybody,
Hang on, please.
Leaving many Puna residents who are in opposition to geothermal heartbroken. But the mayor's rebuke has not been forgotten. Boos rained down on the mayor as he tried to testify at a scoping meeting related to the Hawaii Clean Energy Initiative in Hilo this past Friday.
Submitted written testimony. You guys, I've showed everybody aloha respect too. Just ask the same thing. Never shouted anybody down or disrespected anybody here. We're one island, one community. You guys, not at one time has my administration or anybody ever disrespected somebody's opportunity to speak. So our point is that our goal is not just renewable energy.
Although it was a much more friendly crowd at Saturday's Leilani Estates meeting, there were still some hard questions being asked. John Olson has testified many times on the need for an official emergency plan.
What I have in front of me is the Puna Emergency Response Plan that was drafted by the EPA in response to the blowout. This plan was given to the county in its final draft form in 2000, August of 2000. It's been 11 years plus some months since that has happened. This has not been done.
On Saturday, Olson had some more questions about the procedures being described by the administration.
Since the BP fiasco, they no longer want the industrial side as the technical advisors to emergency response. So you're going to have to find someone else to do that according to that process.
We have to rely on them. They work with the product, and that's their facility. They know the area. We have to rely on them. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that right now. We cannot be experts in every facility. Any facility we go to island-wide, we always, the first person of contact, we have a person that we contact at the facility that is an expert or a technical advisor for us that would give us information, help us throughout the incident.
Another resident wanted to know what the plans are for further geothermal development in the area.
What is the actual risk going forward? There's a lot of rumors, there's a lot of stories, and I don't know what's true and what's not true. What are the risk factors going forward? What plans are underway? What plans are being formed?
The mayor assured the crowd that further development is more likely to occur in Kona, where the need exists.
1,000 megawatts on this island. In fact, absolutely no plans. Not true. Okay, but we're going to industrialize Puna. Not true. No plans. I was bombarded yesterday at the Energy EIS with you've got dots on maps and Sanford's property and 5 drilling sites. In fact, I was going to ask Mike this too. I heard this yesterday.
I didn't hear about that.
But anyway, so the goal is
what are the real plans? That's what I'm asking.
Okay, and I know that's exactly what you're asking. That's why I came up here. My understanding, and Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding at this point, PGV had a 30 megawatt contract, right? Potentially 60. They added 8 more. They're at 38, correct? 8 being off of the avoided cost, which is what we all want, right? Not just more renewable, cheaper renewable. Helco has issued not an RFP, an RFP
coming out before.
Coming out, so request for information with a subsequent request for proposal looking for 50 more megawatts island-wide, I believe with an incentive. You know how they score RFP, that you compete, with an incentive to go west side.
We are building 5 homes in 10 days.
Hundreds of volunteers have gathered in Kona to take on the ambitious Habitat for Humanity West Hawaii Blitz build.
So we got blue line visible.
5 homes in 10 days.
Our Habitat for Humanity West Hawaii board of directors took on the challenge of building these homes because we wanted to make a significant impact in the community. This is a major project. I don't know that anything of this magnitude has taken place in the state so far, but this is something we're proud of and we're taking the lead on.
The build is taking place on Laiopua, Hawaiian homelands near Kealakehe High School. The Department of Hawaiian Homelands has contributed the 5 contiguous lots that will enable Habitat to host the required amount of volunteers to complete the massive project.
And we have about 250 to 300 volunteers out here this morning. One group from the mainland brought 75. They're the Blitz Home Builders. Another group from Habitat for Humanity International Global Village Program has 12. And then we have our own local volunteers, probably about 100 or so of them. So today we're going to raise the interior and exterior walls and get it ready for the trusses tomorrow.
Habitat for Humanity West has built homes in Ocean View, Waimea, Captain Cook, and Kauai High. But now, for the first time in Kona, the organization is partnering with the Blitz Home Builders, a national organization that completes one Blitz build annually.
This Blitz build was something that the Blitz Home Builders do. This is like their 15th build. They do one every year. They travel from state to state across the nation. And this year they chose to come to Hawaii, so we're very grateful for them.
The build kicked off on September 12th. But first, a traditional Hawaiian site blessing. Kahu Dani Akaka did the honors. The moment was marked by a helicopter flower drop and partner families lighting a torch. The torch lighter here is Gilbert Fujimoto.
Five families that we need to take into our heart to pray for, because this is the first 5 here. We have the Fujimoto family, the Haile family, Kekau Oha, the Lucas, and the Mamak family.
I'm just so grateful that I was chosen to receive one of the homes. I feel very special to be here, and I am very thankful that I was able to come, on vacation and help on the build. My heart does go out to the other partner families who weren't able to get off from work to be here, but I'm just really thankful that I'm here and just to witness all this, to see it all happening. Part of the time I feel kind of useless though, because I don't know what to do, but I'm here to take a lot of pictures, make sure everybody has enough water, and just be helpful as much as I can.
After that, it wasn't long before the walls were going up in Kealakekei.
We've got the weather cooperating with us, and we've got more than enough volunteers.
Volunteers hammered away in the hot Kona sun with a goal in mind: 5 new homes in less than 10 days.
This is the first day of construction. You can feel the energy. Everybody is really pulling their load. We got the community and the corporate community out to see us, where everybody's volunteering, and we're going to get these houses built in 10 days. So we're real excited about the progress, even at this early stage.
Local Rotary clubs have raised tens of thousands for the project.
We got two special builds going on. One is a Rotary-sponsored home. So there are 3 Rotary clubs in Kona that came forward to sponsor a home.
Rotary's here today to help with the Habitat Humanities Blitz build as our major community service project for this year. We have 3 clubs involved. We have the Rotary Club of Kona, Kona Sunrise, and Kona Malka. And actually, now we also have the North Hawaii Club that's sending down volunteers today and tomorrow as well. So all 4 Rotary clubs in West Hawaii are represented here.
And then we also have an Apostles build, which is ideally you find 12 churches coming together to sponsor a home. Here in Kona, we had 16 churches actually step up.
The home I'm receiving is one of the Apostle builds. And how the Apostle builds works is there is all these, it's a faith formation that was started a while back by a young man that I know, Kasten Muramoto. He started to put that together, and the Apostle build is where they gather up a lot of churches, and all the churches come together to work in unity as one for one common goal, and that's to provide affordable housing for our community. And so we have 16 churches that are helping today, and there's actually 2 Apostle houses. So I have one, and one of my neighbors got one. And it's they're just all here helping. My lead site coordinator is Kaleo Pereira from La Hela Kulana Corp, and he's just so special. He's very helpful. He's been here from the start, from when we just broke ground and started doing the forms and putting the cement. And just watching him and his crew work is just it's just amazing to me, because they have such a connection, and they just the outpouring of love is just there. You can see it.
Habitat for Humanity West Hawaii is a locally run affiliate of Habitat for Humanity International, a nonprofit ecumenical Christian housing organization. Habitat for Humanity works in partnership with people in need to build and renovate decent, affordable housing.
It's just spreading the word about Habitat for Humanity, helping with all their all the functions that they have, the events, and helping people to get affordable housing. And it's also putting in 500 hours of sweat equity. And just being here, it's something that I didn't want to miss anyway, whether one of the homes were mine or not. I wanted to be here to help because it's such a good project. It's such a good community build that we're doing here.
In addition, Habitat for Humanity West Hawaii's Restore offers a wide variety of new and gently used home improvement projects at discounted prices, up to 90% off retail value. Community donations for Habitat Restore are always welcome. Proceeds generated through these generous donations help build homes for Habitat families. Restore accepts clean furniture, building materials, working appliances, flooring, doors, windows, cabinets, sinks, toilets, lighting, home furnishings, electrical, hardware, and plumbing supplies. The Blitz ends on September 22nd.
And I think in 10 days you'll see the finished results with 5 deserving families moving into homes.
Aloha keho! Welcome to the concert. Mahalo for coming. Did you know that Naleo Community Television offers video training classes?
No, we didn't know that. And did you folks know there's a public forum on Naleo Community Television called Big Island Speaks Out? Oh no, we didn't know that either.
Did you folks know that you can watch Naleo TV programs online at www.naleo.tv? And now you know. And now you know.
Hey Sam, what are you making today?
Of course, I'm doing what I always love to make, and that's poke. Let me teach you about poke.
Great! And let me teach you about Naleo.
Oh wow, what they got going?
Did you know that Naleo Community Television has a website?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah. Wow. So what else do you need to do?
Well, you know, basically cutting the onion. Got to make sure they're nice and fresh and sweet. And then after I get that, I like to put the onions in a bowl. And pretty much that's it. You know, of course, the traditional poke was just fish, limoko, sea salt, and chili pepper. And of course, the most important thing is always making sure the fish is fresh.
Yeah.
And these fish were caught right out here in this local waters. Very nice, huh?
Yeah.
Little sea salt, you know, little green onions, and then of course limoko. You know, oh, you gotta get this limoko.
Yeah.
And what else is going on?
And did you know that they have an on-demand show?
No, I didn't know that. Wow, no kidding. What else do they have?
And did you know that they don't have a cooking show yet?
Hello and welcome to Sam Choi's Kitchen. And today we're making poke with my co-host here. Just kidding. Wow, unbelievable.
Yes, and now you know.
And now you know.